like that might be an understatement.
Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that?
Yeah.
Magic. Motherfucker.
What are you doing? Now for the wizards themselves, David Maya and Phil Arroyo.
Just walking back and
Yeah,
forth in
you guys are a
circles.
lively bunch tonight.
I mean, you missed a whole thing about
I think I heard a little
flappers
bit.
and...
I heard it. Is it a gang stomp that you got going on?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was down there blowing my nose and yeah, casually.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I
As one does.
might be getting sick.
Yeah.
But just heard some crazy shit, and Frankie was scared away.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and now you got the biggest fork full of fucking noodles that I've ever seen.
That is...
My day right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
The
is
behavior can be explained by that being probably most of what you've eaten today right now.
well. Anyways, what a fucking weekend! Talk about just
so
craziness and
yours sounds like it was probably interesting.
oh man,
What happened to you? Because I gotta text you on the hoe phone now.
Come-
I don't know what's going on.
on the phone. Complete just fucking 180 from the way things have been for me in my life lately, except for the fact that it's been still good, really good. Everything.
All right, so when we last checked up on you, you were doing well, like staying away from stuff
on the physical
fast,
front,
juice
yeah,
cleanse.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, and then,
Just to catch everybody up to speed, as a previously on David's live. Now continue.
yeah, so we had quite the busy weekend. I was part of Mutate's 4th episode as the character that I was playing in the show. If you guys haven't been to Mutate, go check that out. It's really awesome. And I drank for the first time at Mutate in over a month. And as I do when I take these breaks and come back to them, I tend to forget that I ever took a break in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I drink and drink and drink until I cannot think. And though it helps me get
Bust sick
into
flows.
character and bust sick flows and just be an overall badass until I literally don't remember what the fuck happens. I ended up losing or leaving my phone there at the club. And so I had art in the park the next day. And I told myself I wasn't going to go to this after party that everybody went to. There was this big after party that was going from, 3 o'clock in the morning until 8 in the morning. So I said I wasn't going to go to that. I'm going to go get some sleep. What did I do? I stayed in the parking lot because obviously I had drank, and I waited till almost 6 o'clock the next morning or 5 o'clock or something like that. Like way after everything was, yeah.
So you slept in your car?
No, I was actually talking and just kind of naturally sobered up.
From the end of Art in the Park till...
No.
you did go to
From
the
the Mutate. From Mutate.
Oh, from Mutate. Oh, okay.
From
This day before.
Mutate. So
Gotcha.
this was in Hollywood still, right? And this whole time I'm in the parking lot talking, I could have gone back inside the place to figure out, and mind you, I probably wasn't as drunk as I'm saying, but it felt that way. So I could have gone back.
Yeah, just for reference, I've seen you claim how drunk you were, and then actually seen how drunk you were.
Yeah.
And I think it goes on in the other direction.
Maybe.
A lot.
Perhaps. So I could have gone back to double check, but I was not obviously interested in my phone. And I was having actually a really good conversation with somebody that I do remember. So it couldn't have been that bad.
Okay.
And I didn't realize until much later when I was on my way home, wait, where's my phone? And I was like, fuck, get out, pull over to the side of the road, go make sure that it's not anywhere. So I go back to the spot and they're closed, completely closed. Cause it's fucking the sunlight's coming up. Why wouldn't they be closed?
Yeah.
And, so I just was like, shit, in a really just kind of a state of panic, because it's not one of those clubs that's like an everyday open establishment. It's like a nightclub that's specifically for nightclub, for events.
Yeah, they don't have brunch and mass service like the next morning. Yeah.
Exactly. So I also had to drive home, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody or even track my phone. So I had to drive all the way home from Hollywood. And when I got home, I was looking on the track my iPhone. I was asking a few friends first, have you guys, people that were there, and have you seen my phone? They're like, no. And so I track it and it shows that it was there. And I'm like, okay, well, at least it's there. And I never really tracked a phone before. I didn't really know, I didn't know that when GPSs, will ping, it'll move sometimes, even if it's in the same spot. like it'll just like I guess when you upload or re-download when you refresh, it'll like kind of like show that it moved and it'll say updated like 2 minutes ago, and I was just like, fuck. Because I didn't realize if I left it inside or if I left it outside when I was talking to somebody. I had no idea. And so I was thinking I might have left it outside, and there might have been like, a homeless person walking by or somebody just walking by.
That's probably who you actually had the conversation with.
Yeah. No, I was like, fuck, well, if, and in my head, I just couldn't sleep at that point. I was like, I can't afford to go get another phone. This is just a stupid mistake on my part. I can't sleep right now because all I'm thinking about in my head is like, first of all, 2 hours of sleep would probably do me even dirtier than just to go and try to solve this thing. So I keep trying to track it and it's saying that it's moving. So I hit up Nick, and of course Nick Nendel was awake because that guy doesn't sleep. Yeah. And I was like, dude, and he's also going to be with me at Art in the Park. So I said, hey, what are you doing right now? And he's like, I just got back from a run. I need you to come with me to Hollywood. And he's like, what? Okay, whatever. So, we go and I have him tracking it down, and it's saying that it's like moving, but he explained to me that it's probably just in the same spot. So we drive all the way out to Hollywood.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And it was still inside the place, inside the venue. Man. So even though it was a pain in the ass, it was still something to be slightly assured about. That guy was just kind of like, okay.
At least
At least I know it's in there. Now,
and the moral of the story is GPS triangulation isn't always 100% accurate.
Right. Yeah. So, that's one thing I learned from it. The thing that is concerning to me is that it had its battery going for a while. Tomorrow night, they have, I guess, the first event back there, and it's dead now. So it's like, it's
going to be, you can't call it.
I tried calling the actual, because I was talking to the people who put on the event, because they rented out from the actual like promoters and stuff. And I guess the guy had gone camping, and like tomorrow night was going to be like.
Wait, it was just like a one-time thing? Like he happened to go camping this weekend?
Like
I guess it's the organizers. Okay.
Yeah, he's like one of the other organizers. So he was going camping, and then so I'm like, well, I need to get a hold of him because I want to make sure that I can get in there before like a whole crowd of people gets in there and someone finds this phone that's off and takes it home with them. Because then that's a whole other, problem. Because at least now I know where it's at.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go try to do that as soon as I can tomorrow, but I don't even know how to reach this person. I looked online to find like everybody's like, didn't you call the place to make sure that it's there? There's literally like there's two random sites that had a phone number were the wrong numbers. It was like one was for like an elderly home and the other one was just out of service. And so, it was just kind of like a really shitty situation, And so that happened, and I go to Art in the Park, and Art in the Park is amazing. Turnout's great. And we get there and we were fundraising, and we had some festive drinks for sale as a fundraiser. And, I was freaking tired. What else was I going to do to keep the energy going but take some more drinks? And, apparently passed out in a hammock there. And then later was over. I paid for In-N-Out for everybody. My sister drove me to In-N-Out. I know that I paid for In-N-Out for everybody that was at his house. Then fell asleep on his couch, woke up, went home. Next day, wake up, can't find my wallet anywhere. My debit card was in my car, in between the seat of my car and the center console, but wallet nowhere to be found whatsoever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? In less than 24 hours, I fucking blew like this. If this is not a sign from the universe saying you're a fucking idiot, you drank 2 days,
24 hours,
for literally 24 hours, and this fucking happens.
Exactly. You lost your ass, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, like a dumbass. And so like aside from at least the debit cards in my possession, but the fucking license, and I've got events that I'm supposed to be attending. Like I have to go see if I can find my fucking passport or something just so I can be able to get into these things.
Yeah.
Not to mention I shaved so I look like I'm, 10 years younger and shit, and actually get carded now probably.
Oh, yeah.
But
damn, man.
Anyway, yeah. Oof. Mercury's in reverse cowgirl again, so it's like
they're really like going to town on you this time. Jesus Christ, man.
It was fun. It's funny. But aside from all of that, it was an amazing weekend. Like I could not have asked for a better time at the actual event at Mutate. We killed it. We just we got a whole new crew, and it's just growing so much. Like we even have to like move venues because it's just getting too big for that little spot, you know.
So what's the show you're talking about? Like, is that is it something that's like best experience, like going there and kind of not knowing, or is it like...
yeah, it's definitely best experience while going there. You should go there if you are at all into the bass music scene. You know, if you like heavy bass music or experimental bass music, this is definitely like the premier blow up spot for LA. You know, it's once a month. David Westbaum and Kim and Mark Kingsley are all putting this production on. And so it has more than just your average bass music scene where it's like you go and kind of just, you know, there's kind of like a dark, what's the word? Like too cool for school sort of feel if you go to some of them. Like people are just going and they're like, it's like you're heavy in the music, but there's not that element of fun or theatrics.
You get people that are like, you know, they're using it as something to like, you know, hit you with or some shit like that. It's like, oh yeah, are you as fucking, you know, eclectic as me, or as down with like the underground shit? You know, the people who like,
yeah, I think
really
it's just too like that too cool for school thing. Where this is like you get the best of that style of music, you know, but you also, you get this whole other production to it. Like there's a running story that goes with it.
That's fucking dope,
and
man.
It's called Mutate. And so the like backstory to what's happened so far is Mutech is this company, this clinical research company that was performing experiments and doing like little evaluations on people interactively in the crowd through the first one. And then, you know, the second one, Mark Kingsley DeMoth, who was actually starting to experience mutations, was quarantined by them, held captive, and released.
So you gotta go like every month to like see the next like episode.
Yeah, totally. It's pretty fucking rad. Sick. Yeah, and so then there's a whole other crew called Anonymous instead of obviously Anonymous. There's Anonymous, and they are the ones that are, you know, exposing Mutech for what they are. And then this last one, you have the
food bloggers, the Omnomnominous.
You had this Chow, the CIAO, that is supposed they were there, and we kind of, you know, teamed up with even Mutech to keep Mutato, which is this mutated potato that, you know, exists and is very alive. Yeah. And we kept it away from them. And dude, it's fucking fun. You know, we go up on stage and we dance, and like, you know, there's just
that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Something that's been missing.
Add another element to it. You know, there should be some level of play. Like, fuck, man.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, I mean, for me, like, you know, some like club, you know, type shit where it's just like, oh, okay, let's go stand in a circle where it's too loud to like, you know, talk to each other, and there's nothing like some of that shit just doesn't always like make sense. And I'm like, I'm really ever up for that.
No, because it's always the same thing.
Because it's always the same thing. But damn, that sounds cool as shit, dude.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I think that, you know, you should definitely, even if you don't think that that's your style of music, you should go and experience it. Because once I could say this, if you're, you know, listening to it and it's just not your thing, but you haven't listened to it on the speakers in that environment, on the Hennessy's, which are like the number one sound system that's around. Like they actually slap that on the lineup every time, and that's what really draws a lot of people in. When people hear that the Hennessy's are going to be there, they're just like, what? Oh, gotta be there. I gotta check it out. And it really does add a whole new element to the experience, and you will catch yourself dancing and moving even if you thought you wouldn't dance to that sort of stuff. So
yeah, no, that's some shit I'm definitely like wanting to check out, because especially these Hennessy systems, like the whole thing, it's like, you know, it's the difference between like going to like a Broadway production and then like seeing somebody's like shaky cell phone camera footage, like, you know, trying to hear this shit like on your you know, just regular earbuds and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's dope, man.
Exactly. And you know, I'm just, and the people involved are fucking amazing. And it's just amazing to see like all of them, like Kim and David, actually, like, you know, producing something to this caliber, like something that's like blowing up, you know, and they, like, all of them are relatively like kind of new at it. Like Bass Waffles was their first, I think, like major monthly conjoined thing that
Which
was
they really-
involving all the homies groups like Fuzzy Puddles and Table Productions and all that stuff, and they're all, it's like one big giant family that all comes out and supports them, but they're putting this new thing on the map that I'm telling you, it's like the new I guess like low end theory, the new, or that's what Base Waffles would pretty much be. But then this one is just like this new monthly event that's got all this other stuff to it, and it's fucking awesome.
Dude, that's fucking tight, man.
Yeah, and then Art in the Park.
We should have pitched that
Yeah,
before last Saturday.
I think I did say it a little bit.
I mean, did we talk like I didn't know like all of it. You just talked about like the theatrics of it. And I was
Right,
like, oh,
right.
okay, cool. Like,
That I was involved in
let's
it,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend you checking out. I mean, I will be posting on my stuff, and I'll be posting to the Let It Bleed page for sure. But
I was on the park.
It was amazing for as much as I can remember anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of dope shit that happened even after I couldn't remember, even after I had to take my little nap. Because, but I mean, just all the way up until then, it was, I mean, first of all, it was a fucking hot ass day compared to this.
Yeah, what the fuck? It just got like
fucking
just
cold
cranked
stuff.
up to 80 in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah, that's probably why I'm fucked up right
they
now.
just
My
bumped
whole
the heat
sinuses are like just fucked up. It's
Oh,
up
dude,
and
yeah.
down, the hot and cold and shit, making my allergies all fucked up.
yeah,
And-
I was the asshole that got trapped in a sweater out that day. I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, and
hell?
it was just awesome. There were so many new faces, so much art going on too. I mean, that's one of the things that obviously it's art in the park you want to see a lot of, and a lot of times it's the music or people just wanting to come hang out and just
Yeah.
chill. But this time I want to say that it was probably the greatest participation and people actually working on something or just doing something creative there, and so that was awesome to see. And like if you go look on the event page, there was I want to say 5 posts about people missing or losing something. So that's always like kind of an interesting thing too. Like it
That's
was
a
just
good like
hot-
barometer if it was a good party. I like
hot
that.
mess express. Yeah. No, but it's great. Could not be happier, and then we're going to Lost in the Sauce next month. So we won't be actually having one at the park, which will give us plenty of time before.
Yeah, you guys are going all in on that.
Yeah.
Which one did that like that fundraiser thing? Part of it work out well?
I mean, yeah, we raised a decent amount of money for what it was. Like I said, we could have figured out other ways to do a little bit more, but
Fundraisers rarely raise funds that well.
yeah,
Yeah. Like I've been part of so many that happen, and most people just can't it's tough, man.
it's interesting. At least with that one, I think that we did pretty well because all we were really asking for was like, hey, $5, if that's what you can give. And then we were offering stuff too. We had stickers, we had pins, we had, like pieces of art that we could donate. And we still have the GoFundMe, and we're still not really even halfway to our goal yet, which we would definitely like to be. And, we could definitely use the help. So if anybody out there is listening and you just feel like you can even donate spare, $1.50 or something, like whatever, it doesn't, any amount helps tremendously, and we just really want to have to not pay for everything out of our pocket for this because we don't really have that much. We're starving artists ourselves and
Have you
making
tried-
ends meet.
Can you guys sell tickets yet or something?
So we have been putting it out there for people to buy tickets, and we put the promo code out there, Dr. Sauce, on there for you guys to be able to donate. It's just I actually don't even know. I haven't been able to. I don't get to track that myself to see like who's doing
how
what.
that's going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I mean, I have good faith that even if people are buying the tickets still, like it's just it's a small percentage. So
Yeah. Promo code Dr. Sauce, you guys.
Yeah, that-
on the Facebook page for Lost in the Sauce.
yeah, and you could just go to the GoFundMe. Go to the Psychedelic Lions Day Goes to Lost in the Sauce GoFundMe page and just. Anything. We have incentives as well. If you do like $10, you get a sticker pack.
$20, he'll come over to your house and give you a foot rub.
For $5, you get a portrait of yourself with a sticker pack
Whoa.
and enter into a raffle for a free ticket. If you donate $50, you get the portrait, sticker pack, and possibly I forgot. I have to go look with it. But there's shit you guys can win too. It's not like
And so that's where people can check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right on, man. Have you considered starting some kind of credit card company and then borrowing against people who are like, you know, getting tickets and then using that to just kind of keep on failing upwards until you guys have a festival?
I kind of was,
because I just watched this documentary.
I was
about
kind of gonna go ahead and offer people tickets to what was it that I was gonna go ahead and do? There was
the Liar Festival.
Yeah, the Liar Festival.
LY.
I was gonna just go ahead and offer people free tickets to Coachella, and then somehow make it happen for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then I'll just go and fraudulently, you know, get the money some other way, or get the tickets some other way.
So who is the that dude that was gonna suck the dick for water in the group?
That's a hard one to say. I don't want to.
And do you consider yourself more of a Billy or more of a Ja Rule?
Definitely
murder.
Ja Rule. How is that guy not in jail?
Ja Rule, I feel like he's almost like a tragic character in all this, because he put his name out there like he's the star power for this shit.
No. You can't feel sorry for him.
Oh, no. Like I don't feel sorry. Like he's, you know, in bed with a bunch of fucking crooks and shit like that. But still, I'm like, I don't think Ja Rule, like, he wasn't there. He wasn't like putting the thing on. I think he fucking trusted these guys to like also do that too. I think he probably knew way sooner than everybody else that shit was fucked and probably did not do enough to stop it. But I don't know. I feel like I don't necessarily blame Ja Rule for most of that.
I think that he was definitely more well aware of what was going on. And I think the fact that he actually said that it's not called fraud, it's called false advertising, then he definitely should go down with that shit. Still trying to like take things back and put it around. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was desperate. I would say that he's desperate. I would say that he acted like he knew more about how shit was done than he actually did. Yeah. You know, because he was just the face of this person. But from the very beginning, you know, how the whole Fire app was such a fucking like, that's like to me like everything wrong in the world. Like, yeah, we're just gonna exploit people, like, and make people spend lots of money to get them shit that they don't need, while other people out there, you know, it's just so like, it's just so superficial.
America.
It's just so fucking and yeah, you know, it's like today I saw that fucking James Franco meme that said, you know, he turns on the news and all he sees, you know, where he says there was 49 people shot from a terrorist attack in a mosque in New Zealand, and all I hear on the news is about Kylie Jenner's fucking matching lip packs with her Adidas or some shit. He's like, fuck Kylie Jenner. And it's like, yeah, dude, fuck that shit. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Where was that? And see, that's the kind of shit why I, you know, kind of stay away from Facebook for the most part now, because I swear, like, you know, that morning that after that had just happened, like, if I went on Facebook and I saw just nothing but like, you know, day out with Bay and like fucking here's, you know, Julie's growing up, she's almost 3 now, like,
you know, but that's,
and like not even that, but like, you know, Kylie Jenner shit.
But that's different. I mean, if people, I don't think that necessarily people's personal lives, especially if they aren't aware of what's going on, but like when the news or other things are actually promoting that as like it's something fucking important that you should be aware of, then that's like fucking, come on.
I mean, like, I realize that I'm kind of the prick, like, in this situation for being like, how could, like, why are we talking about, like, In-N-Out right now when, like, you know, the rising tide of white nationalism and 60 people were just murdered, like, a half hour ago? Like, what the fuck are we doing right now? But, like, that's not a reasonable fucking thing to put on everybody. And I know that's, like, a weird example, but I'm talking about more like sharing bullshit, like, you know, like a quiz or something like that. Like if somebody's doing like, what, you know, Disney character are you most likely to enter into a, you know, non-binary arbitration agreement with, and you know, sue somebody for, you know, unintentional mesothelioma.
Yeah,
like that is the kind of shit that would just. Sorry, I'm so sorry for all that. That took it. I just wasted everybody's time super hard. Like, that's the kind of shit that just, like...
I could see how it would be frustrating, no doubt, but I also, you know, think that people...
I'm saying it's unreasonable of me to do that. I know I'm wrong.
People handle things, in their own way, you know, but it's... I guess that's a good point still to be made, though. Like, I mean, people should be more mindful or care more about stuff that they don't, but... I mean, it's not to say that they aren't aware of what's going on and they're just trying to take their mind off of it. I understand that people cope in their own unique ways, but I still don't want to fucking hear the news talk about Kylie Jenner and her fucking, merchandise.
It shouldn't.
That's kind of just.
They're talking about like, self-made billionaire
Yeah,
Kylie Jenner.
No,
it's like,
you're not a self-made billionaire at all.
Motherfucker,
not even close.
All of y'all were born on fucking third base. You and all the kids that got
when I heard
bought
that,
their
I
way
was
into
just
USC.
Like, oh
they
my.
got photoshopped into fucking soccer stars and then shipped off to colleges they didn't feel like going to for $1 million a pop. Like that shit is so annoying and like just endemic of the bigger problem, the Kylie Jenner problem of this shit. The consumption, just spend. Like that shit's a trip, man.
I had a very interesting conversation with somebody last week too. That it's just the lenses that I feel people are looking through these days, and it's definitely a huge spectrum. If you're like looking at it, not everybody. You can and you also shouldn't try to put people into two specific categories. But if you had to zoom out, you kind of would notice that there are two different ways of viewing things, or let people kind of fall into one more than the other, and that is, well, I guess you could say it would be like the right or the left, but anywhere you stand in between there, the mouthful of bullshit right here. But last week I was talking to a guy that seems to share the opinion of a lot of people who are already over the age of 40, in this country. The people who have given up on any ideals and write them off as fantasy shit, that it's not real and that we're not living in a base reality, because they've accepted and tried to, or believe that they're acclimated to the corrupt system that already is set in place, and just trying to figure out how to get by doing that. And there's like this guy I was talking to, he was a Trump supporter. Not like he's in love with Trump or anything like that. He wasn't like, I stand by him. He's not like a crazy, like he could easily admit he's an idiot or like that he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But his whole thing, which was just as bad in many ways, was like, Trump he knows how to win. The reason why, just going into the whole thing about winning and why winning is so important. And I said, well, that's not what we shouldn't be trying to focus on that. We need to change. We need to get away from that winning is the most important thing over doing what's right, and he's like, well, see, the only way you can, and I've heard this argument a billion times, the only way you can really influence change is by playing the political game, learning the rules so that you can know how to break them. But it's like, no, you're giving in to this and succumbing to that and then becoming that,
it's a slow creep.
Yeah. And you just become old enough to just say, yeah, that's
exactly. It's awfully convenient when the thing that is the right thing to do, quote unquote, also happens to take the least amount of effort from you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. It does bother me. And with those people, like, you're probably more patient than I am. Like I just would not be able to honestly engage with somebody on that level. Like, it's about winning. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, it costs $750 for insulin right now that people have to, like, get once a month, diabetics, and like that's like with insurance. So what is winning? Can we define this, please? Can we stop talking in rhetoric and start talking about actual fucking problems that people have and things that are important?
I brought up the whole Get Me Roger Stone documentary that I saw, where
fantastic documentary. But the sad part is that these are the two lenses. This is that polarization that I'm talking about right here, where people, it's still that confirmation bias that people have, because we could be watching the same movie as all these other people who feel that way, but they don't see anything wrong with what he's doing. Like, he's blatantly saying, we don't care about ethics. We're here to win. That's what you do. It's about winning. Anybody who says anything else is a loser. And they really, well, that's right. That's like that's as far as their brain has been able to think, to actually critically think about what is going on. Says the man who's probably in jail for the rest of his life right now, Roger Stone.
Is
So-
he? See, and that's
yeah.
see that mindset that
He
this
was
is
one of the most fucking satisfying videos of my life that I had seen. I think happened over the break that we were on.
right.
And Roger Stone, like they the cameras were there, camera crews were ready when the FBI and shit like that showed up to his house in full SWAT like gear, and they fucking opened up his door and he walked out. Like that was just so satisfying to hear because that guy is a bastard of the highest degree, and I'm glad that there's a documentary out now that people are seeing. It's like, oh no, you're a giant piece of shit, and I think that little weasel rat fuck is like also not, he's not as big of a deal as he claims he is and shit like that. Especially like, I know when he got arrested, even the Nixon Institute came out and they're like, yeah, so all that shit about Roger Stone, like he was an intern and like never once was mentioned in any of Nixon's like shit, and so.
But he's got a tattoo of him on his back.
I know that
But-
guy just he's the fucking worst. And
But but anyway, this guy who I was talking to seems to believe that he's not going to be in trouble for very long, and he's definitely going to get away with that. So I mean, I don't know, like what is actually going down with all that. You would know a lot more than I do.
yeah,
with
he's
that.
not getting away from that, dude.
Yeah.
He's the link between Trump and Russia. Because he was the one who was conspiring with Julian Assange the whole time to get all those emails to drop and shit like that. Like they've got him on, like they've got all of his like emails. They've got text messages that say that. They've got text messages after he got caught saying, "Oh shit, they know about this. Like delete it." Like they've got so much of it, man. So it's he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right. Well, and the thing was that I was surprised that documentary was even made because. Like they're shamelessly, both he and Trump are just shamelessly on there, showing their true colors of like, yeah, we don't care. We're going to lie because that's what we have to do to win. But the thing that got me the most was that the people just don't care.
Well,
They don't care because this guy's over here talking about that's what you do.
Mhm.
That's what you do in politics. You don't understand politics is what he told me. I said, no, I do understand politics. I don't like it. I don't understand the macro of what's going on or the micro every day-to-day thing because I'm fed up with it because it's corrupt as fuck. And what I would want to do would go back here and just fucking dismantle this corrupt system and try to figure out ways to implement something new, which is why I would like somebody like Bernie Sanders, who at least, has a track record of doing the honest, right thing, as opposed to so many people who are just coming in that have, political backgrounds or whatever, and that they're not quite. Anyway, I'm getting too far away from the point. The point is that it's like, what age do people sacrifice like wanting the world to be a better place? And
I don't know if those types of things are necessarily going to hold true like in our lifetime. Like I really do think that like those thought processes and like that kind of idea, that mentality, that's all forged in probably what is the the beginning and like the worst parts, like the worst times in not that, but in the 80s, like when really greed and shit like that and all these things, winning at all costs, everything really was well on its way towards decline. That was actually kind of like when the shit broke, and I think we're just now kind of feeling the effects of some stuff like that. And so I don't think that like honestly, I'm not even sure how the fucking Republican Party survives after like a bunch of this, but it's like, those people, I don't think that's a thing that's going to carry, like it'll always be around, people who think like that, people who go, oh yeah, I'm the winner, people who like literally even before he was the president, I was the people who idolize people like Donald Trump,
right.
Because that's a stupid man's idea of what a rich man is.
Right.
And so like, yeah, man, I'm not as concerned about that. I'm more concerned with the fact that you're right. Shit is shameless right now. Like everybody knows, and they're all just all these arguments are being made in bad faith that like, oh, things are okay. We got to come together. We got to heal this. Like, oh, you just got to win. You got to do all this. It's like they're committing all these crimes out in the open, flagrantly. They're talking about it. They're writing about it. They've been caught dead to rights on so many issues right here. And they just keep going. Like, I mean, there are congressmen that they have on tapes and wires and shit like that, talking about how like the only thing their only job is to protect the president right now. Like, okay, let's make this up and let's not do it. Like, they're so bad at it too. That's what pisses me off the most. Is that they're just so bad at it. Like,
right.
And now they just don't care, and now they're just throwing in everybody's faces that they can do whatever they want, and they're like beyond reproach, or that's what they think anyway.
Well, kind of what upsets me too about the Democratic Party is how divided it is, or it seems to be, between people who also kind of are already falling into this slight rightist mentality of, well, I like Bernie Sanders, but he, or somebody else who's progressive, but I just don't think he could do the job. I don't think he's going to win. And it's like, so that's why you're going to be one of the bunch of people who are just going to not vote for somebody who could do the right thing, because you're it's like kind of like watching a sports team and like not going for the team that you want to win just because you know whose stats are like better. That's like, are you a real fan, or do you want that team to win? And that's a shitty comparison too, because we shouldn't be comparing people of leadership roles to our sports teams.
I get what you're saying, but here's why I disagree with that a little bit. Because I think Bernie has done this really incredible thing, which has broken like the spell of like the 70s and 80s where, progressivism and the Democrats and liberals just took this giant hit. And then they decided in the 90s that like, oh, okay, we're going to be just like conservatives to win over, middle America votes and like rural votes and shit like that.
But look how many people are trying to join the race right now.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Bernie has pulled the whole party back to the left. He's done an incredible I think he's fixed the shit, And so now all of these people are running on an almost identical platform to Bernie's, which is fucking crazy to me. So I think
you think they're identical?
Yeah. Like very, very close. Like the difference between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders was fucking stark, man. The difference between Bernie Sanders and all these other people, like they agree on most things, like 90% of things, But Bernie was the one who actually pulled the entire conversation, the whole party there, All this shit's polling well. Medicare for all, like the Green New Deal, like all these things. Like people want this shit. And now most of the candidates are coming out in support of them. Now, granted, there's 29 candidates, and I don't have all of their, platforms written down or anything like that. But, I can't endorse anybody at this point. Like, it's a difficult choice to make. Bernie being, one of the foremost ones. Like, this is the dude who has an unalienable record on this kind of shit. Like,
right.
I'm with you on that.
So that's what I'm saying, though. And the I guess you could say the criticism right now, and at least from the little bit that I've heard, is that it's not all the same. You're getting all these people that are trying to join the race, and it's just going to throw things off and divide the party from what they actually want to happen. Because now there's people talking about like Beto, and there's people talking about who else is running, that a lot of people are like, oh no, that's who I'm for sure going to be voting for. And you're like, dude, let's just fucking, let's pick fucking Bernie Sanders. Let's just fucking make it happen.
The sense that I've gotten is that I think, everybody does understand the weight of what's going on here, how important this election is and shit like that. And I think everybody's kind of being aware about the the infighting and stuff like that. And plus it's also way far out from even the primary. So like things are probably, I can almost guarantee you're going to get a little bit messier, but I really don't think it's like as bad as, people kind of think it is, like I'm seeing a lot more consensus among folks, at least on like broader ideas, and then it comes down to implementation on certain things. But like, it's a remarkably progressive platform like that most people are running on. And so I think, you've got Elizabeth Warren and things like, even Kamala Harris, who I think is falling a little bit into that more on that other category there, where there's a bigger contrast. But there's a lot of really great choices out there, and this far out with 20 fucking people, like I'm not gonna like waste too much time really thinking about that way too much because of that shit. But because
there's nobody else on that side that's even gonna come close to Trump. like
Well,
on the
yeah.
other end. So
no, nobody's gonna primary Trump. Are you kidding? Like, Trump is.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like whoever it is better be fucking good, and we better be able to beat him, and that's what I want, you know. Like, and I think that the strongest person, just based off of the support that I've seen anyway, would have been Bernie Sanders. I just feel like for whatever reason, if it was somebody else, they would just be like they wouldn't give a shit, or they would just like find reasons to like not vote for Bernie. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, man, it's all about name ID. Like, one of the most like the thing that like really surprised me, and I was like, fuck, why am I surprised by this? Is that like they did some poll like out in Iowa or one of those fucking early caucus states, and they were saying that like
it sounded like you said caucus state. Caucus state.
Caucus states. They were saying that like, you know, everybody who they polled of Democratic runners and people who might potentially be running, like Joe Biden was like number 1 up there with like, you know, 40% or something like that, and then it goes all the way down. But then like 30% of the people that were polled and said, oh, okay, if Joe Biden wasn't running, who would you pick? 30% of them went for Bernie Sanders. Now, I have a hard time thinking, like, they have a very fucking different platform. And like Bernie Sanders stands for way different shit than Joe Biden does. So what's like funny to me is that like, man, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Nobody does. People go, oh, I know Joe Biden. Yeah, oh, the vice. Yeah, oh, he's a cool uncle.
I was gonna say,
that guy. And then they go, oh no, Bernie. People like Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I'll vote for Bernie Sanders. It's like, oh shit, okay, that's right. Most people don't know. Most people are not informed on this shit. And so
why don't you tell them the difference between their platforms? Because that's another thing I saw today that everybody's like what the fuck when Biden decided that he's going to run.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would, but I just don't think it's really worth much of anyone's time right now. I mean, Joe Biden is for kind of more classic like corporate Democrat, moderate, center left policies and things like that are like, you know, half measures and things like that. Carbon taxes, expanding, the ACA, a little bit.
Nothing really new. A lot more of the same.
A lot more inching. A lot of the same shit. A lot more inching towards progress and keeping things pretty, stable. In their mind, status quo. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Status quo. And Bernie is for a lot of fucking ideas that will actually get something done. And so that's the gist of it, man. I think the time of like Joe Biden and even Obama is kind of past,
Yeah.
I don't think they were enough.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be about messaging. It's gonna be about smart strategy. It's gonna be about enthusiasm and getting people out there. And I don't know, man. I think we could see something crazy because I mean, you saw how the midterms went, and midterms are historically, generally, always worse for people on the left across the board. General elections and things like that. That always gets way more. So yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, there's other things to worry about. There's other things to think about. But this week, I promise, because last week I got fucking dark. I was like, you know what? Everything that I had to start to talk about was just like all like fun bullshit. Besides a lot of this stuff.
So what are you going to bring up?
Oh, we can actually wrap up soon here because we're coming up on 45 minutes. But
I do want to say you should watch that fucking robot cartoon thing on Netflix if you haven't started watching.
Robot cartoon?
I forgot what it's called. It's like something robot. Fucking I forget. It's like a bunch of short animated little specials. It's very gory and adult. It's like an Adult Swim shit, but it's kind of like video game graphics. Fuck, I forget what it's called. It's something with the robot. Robots in Love or something like that, like Loves and Robots. Okay. I'm terrible with the names.
So while you look that up real quick, let me tell you about, have you seen Step Up Charlie?
I saw the trailer and I'm like, I don't know if I want this like nanny type fucking thing.
Oh no, like that's like kind of what it starts. It's not really like really about that,
Love, Death, and Robots is what it's called.
Love, Death, and Robots. Okay.
Anyways, go on.
That's dope. Yeah, no, that shit is actually good, and I'm kind of like waiting for more of our friends to see it because it's about DJs and stuff like that and festivals and shit. Like, because Idris Elba is a big time like house DJ. And so everything is all house music, and he plays like a DJ who like used to be famous in the 90s and shit, and now he's like washed up and like trying to get his career back, and he's like, it's all it's a pretty typical thing because you've heard about that, artists and entertainers, actors and shit like that, but this is like, oh, a DJ, like that's kind of novel for something like that. Like, you know, there's like a 2-part episode or something like that that happens at a festival. Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's cool
a
to
show?
see these things. Yeah, it's a Netflix show. There's like 8 episodes.
Oh shit! I thought it was a movie.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty good actually. It's super funny. And like there are parts of it where it's like corny, and then there's like everything is scored by house music, which just it doesn't work for everything. I'm sorry. Like there are certain like dramatic moments, intense things, and sad things, and you just.
But is it like it's like
hard to
big
take
room
seriously
type
at
house
times.
music too, with like heavy high synths, and it's just
Yeah.
like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, because they're all like UK, you know, so it's like they don't really have a ton of influence.
the
Yeah,
old
it's a lot of
EDC
that
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
Got it.
And so it's
like that fucking kid.
It's
Can't deal.
It's pretty fucking corny at times, but you know it's fun and novel with like I've been to those kinds of things, be around that kind of stuff, and then watch that. You're just like, oh shit, like a comedy show set in these times. There's something fun about that I think is a little extra that most people that we know can appreciate and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's good. And then that was pretty much it. Oh, and it's also got the dude from remember I was telling you about that show, Men Like Mobeen?
So that's
Last
what I
week?
was just gonna ask you. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that yet. Still, I don't know where to find it.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Man. Okay.
Both of those are on Netflix. But like I started watching that shit, and that dude that plays the guy Mobeen in the show is like Idris Elba's best friend in this show.
Okay, so
So it's like-
now I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
That's
shit, okay.
dude. There was something crazy I saw. I believe it's the same guy because he has that kind of voice like this, right?
Yeah, that guy.
So he goes
Gus,
in this.
Gus Kahn, I think.
Yeah, he went and he did this crazy. I don't know if it was an ongoing series with him or if it was just like one episode, but he was doing a stand-up comedy bit while explaining his experience, and then they keep showing footage of him going to a white supremacist house, like his home with his wife and his kids, and like the guy they welcome him into his home, which I thought was kind of odd, you know, and like he was interviewing them and asking them questions, and like, you know, it was just a very strange and intense thing because the guy was almost playing it off like he wasn't a race, like what he's doing is not bad, like he's like a racist and he's proud of it, but he's also not like against talking or like being a decent human being and like talking to this guy, like he's like totally just giving him everything, you know, that they want in the interview, allowing them to film him and stuff. But you could tell his wife was just like not having it, and like she even like says it there, like she's like saying that, you know, that she believes there should be another genocide, like, and it was just really intense and crazy, like this thing. But that guy's, I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you go to this house and like
there's this big kind of idea around, you know, conversations and subjects like that I think, you know, even to myself I didn't grab the full scope of, but it's like it's like we need to stop saying like, oh, it like we're like, oh, I'm not racist, I have a black friend, that kind of thing. There's just always some like extension of that goes beyond it. Like I know even one of the most craziest ones I saw was like there was like a dude who was like one of the leaders of like this white supremacist group. He's like one of the Proud Boys, and he's married to a black woman, and they have kids, and it's like, okay, there's like a way to think about that shit that's just beyond like, oh, okay, like that's where they would like accept them and like be there. It's like there's
the
a
Proud
certain
Boys,
level of it.
the Gavin McInnes thing.
Yeah.
So wait, are they're I know that they're part of the alt-right thing, but wasn't it more like they were just like men, like we're like men, and we, you know, we're their whole thing is like against attacking on like male toxic masculinity, like they're like against the whole movement against that. I thought that
I think
what
that's
the
one
Proud
of those
Boys were.
Like, you know, and this is actually okay to finally bring the whole thing full circle here. Like the point, and one of the biggest moments of clarity, you know, epiphanies or whatever you want to call it, I had realizations, is that this week I'm like, you know what, all these like the jokes, you know, the like ironic white supremacy and shit like that, all these things like you know, proud to be men, call it the Proud Boys, like it's like kind of tongue in cheek and shit, like that shit is not like, that shit has become what,
because aren't there
the
black
thing
people in the Proud Boys?
I don't
I
think
saw like I think I saw like a documentary on it where there were like actually like black guys in the group, but it was mostly just a bunch of guys hanging around together that were like standing up for their masculinity,
Mhm.
and they were like against any movement that was trying to make them feel that they shouldn't be masculine.
Mhm.
But there were black guys in it and Hispanic guys in it too.
Hmm.
That's why I was saying, like,
Oh,
I understand.
Maybe no, all right, maybe I have that part wrong then.
Because, well, I mean, it would make sense too if I were to just hear the Proud Boys would definitely, and I know that he's put into that category. I know that he's definitely in the alt-right on a different. And did you watch that documentary, by the way?
Which one?
The alt-right?
No.
Oh, dude, you have to watch it.
Okay.
It's fucking intense and very important to watch, I think. But yeah, because they talked to him in there. And like he explains, like, yeah, technically I'm a part of the alt-right, but like I'm not like this fucking guy. Like this guy says that there's no future for black people in America. He's like, that's fucking crazy. And I was like, okay, so like,
But like that's your team, dude.
but so
And like you're participating in something that is actively, even by association, kind of building it up to be a grander thing that it is. I was thinking about this because like that dude that killed everybody in Christchurch this week, he like started out like he was always going to like all the 4chan boards and stuff like that, doing all this like really the edgy shit, man, and like just going through like the internet machine that so many of us have seen, and it's like, oh man, like all everybody, like if everybody who's like been planning on committing a domestic terrorist attack that we've caught in the last like 2 months has had a fucking Pepe the Frog sticker on the side of their car and some shit like that, there's a certain point where like the ironic undertones of it kind of just become the full-fledged
it's like the Make America Great
thing.
Again hat. Like you don't wear that hat unless you're trying to say something specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like because on the Facebook live stream that was going on when they killed all those people, like the guys shouting out memes and shit like that, like things that are funny to them. They're saying like subscribe to PewDiePie and things like that. And he put out this manifesto, quote unquote, that was like just all inside ironic jokes and shit like that from 4chan. Not worth fucking reading or anything like that. But it's like, that's the kind of shit that was like, you know what? Like this shit is straight up, like even the jokes, it's like, that shit's getting dangerous, man. It really is.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I don't know what any of them are. And I
yeah. Oh no, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they are. I don't know what they are either. But it's like, but I know the type of person, I know the like, the edgy 14-year-old counterculture kind of person, the incel shit, like all these like 4chan, like all started as jokes. And now it's like every domestic terror attack, like is, has something to do with that. Like in 2018.
Right.
Like,
so it'd be like just propaganda that ignorant people have,
yeah,
just,
and literal propaganda, like co-opted by, groups in Russia and shit like that. They're actual like intel, counter intel things that are, looking at stuff like that. Sorry, I'm losing it here. Yeah. And we're running up on an hour. And I know we just fucking briefly just breezed across this like giant broad topic. And I did not do a good job of explaining my point of view. Maybe next time we can kind of come back to that.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, if anybody has anything to
no, please don't
say about that, no, don't.
Oh man, no, I'm exhausted from that, getting myself all worked up from that kind of shit this week.
Yeah, you need to not get yourself so worked up.
I know, it's not healthy.
Go watch Step It Up Charlie. Is that what it's called again?
Yeah, Step Up Charlie.
Step Up Charlie.
And Vice. I also saw that. That was a really good movie.
Vice?
Yeah, the Dick Cheney, Christian Bale one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Christian Bale is a magician, and I legit worry about him and his health, but goddamn.
I was just watching today the transformational shit, the craziest transformation in for actors, method actors.
And numbers 1 through 7 are Christian Bale. Yeah.
There's like him, fucking Daniel Day-Lewis, fucking all those guys. Anyways, yeah, it's crazy. I'll have to check that out too. Is that also on Netflix?
No, I got it on Showbox. So yeah, find it however you like to steal your movies.
Dope. But Love, Death, and Robots. Check it out.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyways, we are not going to waste any more of your fucking time today. We hope that you got something out of this. It was fun. And we will be with you again next week. As always, let it bleed.
All right. I was like, oh, is it my turn to do it?
I forgot we did.